Hi student, this is Professor Harmony Kim who will instruct Buddhism and Cognition in the summer semester 2021. The first half of this lecture, we will review the syllabus and the rest. Second half of this lecture, you will study cognition briefly, in general. Let's look at the syllabus first. Course title, Buddhism and Cognition. Course code is BUD 420. This course is for 4 credit unit course. This course is a study of Buddhist teachings regarding the mind, its relationship to the body, and the role of meditation in comparison with Western cognitive science. The cognitive aspect of the Buddhist tradition is considered from the point of view of the development of the mind and body practices. Meditation is examined as a major part of the Buddhist ideas of cognition. The objective of this course is inquire and understand how the mind works. Find the difference between Buddhist and Western perspectives of cognition. From this course, you will learn methodology, findings, and theories associated with cognitive psychology. Also, you will understand the Buddhist meditation in the context of cognitive neuroscience. Also, you will be able to apply your learning to real world and everyday life to improve human welfare. The instruction will consist of lecture, reading assignment, class discussion, and handout. Class discussion might be impossible on the online platform. In case of classroom, questions and discussions are strongly encouraged. Other instructional techniques may also be employed, such as audio-visual presentations, guest speakers, critical thinking exercise, etc. Each class will have a lecture on the assigned chapters. You are expected to read the material related to the class. Some week, I might provide article which you need to read. But some week, you might just watch my lecture video. That will be okay. The instructor will demonstrate problems and case studies in class. Students may work alone or in group to do assigned problems in class. This is the case for classroom on-site class. So online class, you might either listen to my lecture video or you just reading the assignment. Usually the assignment could be article which I will upload and attach as an attachment in email. Required textbook will be Sutta Pitaka. So Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, and Samyutta Nikaya. I'm going to extract some sutra from these Sutta Pitaka, and then I will explain how the Buddha sermon the human mind in terms of a process and mental state. Additional resources, you can read The Cognition, written by Madeline, and this book is related cognitive psychology. Given that this course is online platform, we need to communicate by email. This is my email address. So you have to use this gmail.com to submit assignment to me. And the lecture video will be uploaded sometime in the morning of every Monday. And students must send the above email weekly base for your assignment. You need to write down the subject title of the email as week 1 assignment or week 2 quiz and so forth. So in email, there's subject title. You need to write down BUD 420 week 1 quiz or week 1 assignment. The next week, your title subject will be Board 420 week 2 assignment. If you have any question in addition to the assignment, please send me email with the subject title additional question on the email. Just in case if students keep asking the information which have been already clarified in the lecture video, I might not respond or delay replying. It is possible to reach me by email at any time, and you will get a response from me within 48 hours during weekdays. And it might take longer during weekend. The instructor reserves the right to change or modify any or the entire syllabus and will notify students of any change. Please make every attempt to be in class during all sessions. Regular and punctual attendance as well as active student participation is an important part of a student's education. So, regular and punctual attendance in the classroom, this is the story for the on-site education. On the online education, your attendance will be monitored differently. I will give weekly assignment. You have to submit weekly assignment until Sunday midnight of that week. I will explain this a little bit later, but attendance is strictly monitored. All assignment and or additional assignment must be completed according to professor's guideline. Sometimes you might miss assignment on a certain week, but students may not miss more than 70% of class sessions. 3 consecutive absences require formal notice, so you need to think about drop this course in that case. Let's look at participation policy in detail. Each student is expected to be an active participant in submitting weekly-based assignment to my email. Your class participation grade will reflect the quality and consistency of your contributions. Mere attendance does not represent participation. Frequent absence will severely impact your participation grade. So every week, you need to submit assignment in the form as you see in the bottom of this slide. After this lecture video, you have to submit first week assignment, like a left part on the bottom, to my email address. Also include your email address on CC. And subject title must be Board 420 week 1 assignment. This week assignment is your name. Write down your name, last name, comma, followed by first name. In body of text of email, you need to write down your official name, not your nickname. Therefore, you must write down your official name starting from last name, comma, followed by first name. You have to submit your official name, that is the this week assignment. Based on your official name, I will set up the roster. And then based on that official name, I will check your attendance weekly based. Week 2 assignment, probably I will give quiz at the end of a lecture video. There are 3 questions. So quiz 1, there's 4 answer samples. You read the question and then choose one answer and write down answer in the text body of the email. So second week, you have to submit this format. A right part on the bottom. Also my email, CC, include your email address. It's important to include your email address. like that. So you can prove how many times you send me assignment by putting your email address on CC. And subject title, Bird 420 Week 2 assignment. This assignment is for week 2. Week 3, then you will write down week 3 assignment. Week 1 assignment, this week there is no quiz. You just write down your official name and submit to me. That's it. But from second week, you will have 3 questions at the end of a lecture video. So the lecture video you watch and listen, and then at the end of that lecture video, you solve 3 questions and then write down the quiz answers in the body of a text in the email. Do not make attachment file when you send weekly assignment. It's only 3 questions. Question 1, maybe answer might be A among A, B, C, D answer samples. Question 2, B. Question 3, answer might be D. If you think that is the best answer, you just write down quiz, number, and answer. That's it. Do not make attachment file. Or do not put your answer in zip file. Your computer and my computer are different. So when some students send a zip file, I cannot even open. Then I will not count that student's attendance. So it's simple. And week 2 assignment, this is routine. In week 3, in week 4 assignment, it's the same way. It's weekly based, it's routine, regular pattern to submit assignment. Week 5, you will have a midterm, and week 6, you will have again 3 quiz questions at the end of a lecture video. Then you will write down answer and submit until Sunday midnight of that week. Then I will count your attendance based on submission of a weekly based assignment. Academic integrity. Each student must do your own work. Copying assignment will be considered cheating and all parties will be penalized. Please do not wait until the last minute to do your assignment. I encourage students to discuss their classwork and assignment together. This is the story for classroom-based. You learn a lot from your peers since you go through the same learning process. However, after the discussion, each of you should work on your own assignment independently from scratch. One learns by doing, not by working together to print 2 copies. This is not learning. If any part of an assignment represents the words and ideas of others, you must cite those sources. Academic dishonesty includes, but is not limited to, asking a tutor or a friend to complete a portion of your assignment, hiring a reviewer to make extensive revision to your assignment, submitting work originally submitted by another student as your own, using information from online resources without properly citing your source, copying any portion of a word or idea from any other source you do not cite. You might have essay assignment in the lecture final. Maybe you might write down some short essay with 500 to 1,000 words. At the time, if we want to borrow some other person's idea, then just include that person's name and then put quotation as a citation. Then you will be okay. You just simply copy and paste in your essay. That is plagiarism. If you write down other person's idea in your own language, then that is okay. Okay, so when you write down a short essay in the lecture final, please pay attention to whether you correctly cite or not. Assignment or quiz will be announced through lecture video. The due of each assignment is until Sunday midnight of the following week because this course is supposed to open on Monday. So Monday, at the end of the lecture video, you will find 3 quiz questions. Then you have to submit that quiz question until Sunday midnight of the following week. All work must be turned in on the due date by email. No late submission will be accepted. If you submit quiz or assignment on Monday next week, then that will not be counted. When you send the assignment or quiz weekly base, you must put your email on CC so that you can keep the copy of every email of submitting the assignment. In the body of the email, you need to write down your official name every week. Last name, comma, followed by first name, because many students use their email name different from official name. I stick to official name, your final grade based on your official name. So, write down last name, comma, followed by first name. Write down your official name in the body of the email every week. After your official name, you need to start to write down the answer of 3 quiz questions. All essay assignment must be typed. When I give essay assignment, I will explain the format of essay so that you will hear about this again, what kind of font, what is the space between lines, all these kinds of parameters I will introduce later when I give essay assignment. How I can evaluate your performance? Homework assignment about 30%, midterm examination 30%, lecture final will be 40%, so total 100%. So based on your performance, if you achieve between 90 to 100%, you are belong to grade A. 80 to 89% is B. 70 to 79, grade C. 60 to 69 will be D. Below 60 will be F grade. Let's look at the schedule. Today, you review syllabus and I briefly introduce the concept of cognition. Next week, you will study process of cognition in Western psychology. Following week, process of cognition in the Buddhist perspective. In Buddhist perspective, we will more focus on meditation, how this meditation really modulate the normal cognitive process. So meditation is a specialized form of consciousness. How human can have specialized form of cognition by practicing meditation. So cognitive process in meditation, you will study that. After that, you will have a midterm. Midterm, you will have 20 questions. Each question is multiple choice question. You read and then you choose the best answer, and then each question count 5 points. So the maximum total is 100 points. So on week 5, you will have a midterm, and then after midterm, you will study attention and memory in Western psychology and how attention and memory can be interpreted in the Buddhist perspective. And also, what is the relationship between mindfulness meditation and memory? You have a short-term memory and long-term memory. How this memory is gonna operate for mindfulness meditation. Week 9 is September 6th. It's a labor holiday, so there's no lecture. And September 13, the altered state of consciousness, meditation. So you will study some neuroscientific discovery of human brain who engage in meditation. How neuroscientific information is different between someone who engages in meditation and someone who does not engage in meditation. Then you will have a final exam. But depending on the situation, I might a little bit change the topic or subtopic, but we will see. But in case of I change the schedule, I will notify you in advance. So this is overall of syllabus. So again, week 1 assignment, you have to submit to me, and here's my email address. Include your email address on CC, and subject title is About 420 week 1. And please write down your official name. Again, last name, comma, followed first name. Do not swap the position of last name and first name. Your last name should appear before first name. Do not use the nickname when you submit the assignment. Sending me the email of your official name will be counted your attendance of the first week of this course. The due of week 1 assignment is July 18th, the coming Sunday, midnight. Okay, the rest half, we will study Buddhism and Cognition. In order to study Buddhism and Cognition, first, let's look at the meaning of cognition in different academic fields such as psychology. Cognitive psychology means what is known about how your mind works, how your mental activity operates. So cognitive approach emphasize people's knowledge and their mental processes. Before cognitive process developed, other techniques were used to study mental activity, such as introspection or behaviorism. Introspection means the trained subject analyze their own sensation and report them as objectively as possible. Cognitive psychology influence on other areas of psychology, educational psychology, social welfare, health psychology, etc. Behavioral approach emphasize observable behavior. So psychology must focus on objective, observable reactions to the stimuli in the environment rather than introspection. Studying mental representation, such as image, idea, or thought objectively might be impossible. So based on behavioral approach, human mind can be observed or reflected. Or psychodynamic approach focus on unconscious emotion. Before cognitive approach fully developed, behavioral approach or psychodynamic approach have some limit to fully understand the human mind. Then cognitive psychology explore how human mind works out. The significance of cognitive psychology occupies a major portion of human psychology. Everything you've done in the past hours require you to perceive, remember, use language, or think. So, cognitive psychology provides an owner's manual for your mind. Owner's manual means when you purchase a new smartphone, you receive a brochure that describes its function. No one issued a brochure for your mind when you were born. Upon studying cognitive psychology, you can see your mind like a brochure or owner's manual. In other words, describing information about how your mind works. Cognitive psychology influences other areas of psychology, as well as disciplines outside psychology, such as neuroscience or even in Buddhism. The emergence of cognitive psychology is around 1956 to 1975. It extends the rigor of learning approaches and maximizes the thinking aspect. And then some psychologists built some model for memory, how humans' memory can work out. Memory involves a sequence of separate steps. For memory, information is transferred from one storage area to another in each step. There are several kinds of memory. One of them is a sensory memory, a short-term memory, long-term memory. So you will study memory, these kinds of memory later. According to the information processing approach, mental processes operate like a computer with information flowing through a series of storage areas. Thinking is simply the processing of information, the information processing approach. So mental processes are similar to the operation of a computer. Information progresses through a cognitive system in a series of stages, one step at a time. Your sensory organs sensitize the stimuli from the environment, and then your brain process, and then you express the information or stimuli you receive from input. So in computer, data input and black box may be CPU, and then output come out. So computer model, it has sensory register, input device, and then short-term memory, central processing unit, CPU, and then long-term memory, hard drive storage. So computer system pretty much analogous to cognitive process of a human being. Also, I mentioned that cognitive psychology influences neuroscientific technique. By understanding how the brain works, we can better understand how and why we behave as we do, because the brain is involved in all aspects of behavior. Brain lesion, progesterone emission tomography, PET scan, functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, event-related potential technique, ERP. Through these techniques, neuroscientists facilitate to understand the human mind. Let's look at brain lesion. There is a person whose name is Pinus Gage. And this person worked in railroad company. When he worked, there is some accident occur, so iron bar penetrate throughout his brain. Fortunately, he recovered within 4 months, but had some personality changes. After accident, he changed. He is the same person, but his mental state changes after accident in a way that he became hostile, impatient, and looks like the same person, but he is no longer the person whose name is Gaze. So, brain lesion can change human personality. Destruction of a tissue makes possible to examine cognitive process. After World War II, people with war-related injuries showed very specific language disorder. Researchers find similar patterns in the relationships between brain damage and cognitive deficit, although people spoke different language. This technique facilitates understanding the organization of the brain. In other words, certain region of the brain be responsible for certain task, mental task. But researchers cannot associate a cognitive deficit with a specific brain structure because the damage from brain lesions is not limited to a specific area. Then, advanced neuroscience technology developed. One of them is computed tomography, CT scan. CT uses a refined version of X-ray equipment. CT scan provides structural information, but it cannot allow us to see brain activity. You might be familiar with X-ray. X-ray is electromagnetic waves of a very short wavelength. From X-ray, a dense structure absorbs the X-ray most and so appear as a light area. Hollow air-containing organs which absorb the X-ray less show up as a dark area. What X-rays do best is visualize hard, bony structure and locate abnormal dense structure such as tumor in the lungs. CT is a refined version of X-ray equipment. So, as a patient is slowly moved through the donut-shaped CT machine, its X-ray tube rotates around the body. Its beam is confined to a slice of the body about as thick as a dime, and this results in a detailed cross-sectional pictures of each body region scanned and reconstructed. CT scans are at the forefront for evaluating most problems that affect the brain and abdomen. Another scanning technology called PET, positron emission tomography, PET scan. PET scan excels in observing metabolic process, not for structural damage, because PET can measure blood flow with a radioactive chemical just before the person performs a cognitive task. The chemicals, such as radioisotopes, travel through the bloodstream to the part of the brain that are activated during the cognitive task. So when you read the newspaper, certain part of the brain region is highly activated compared to when you sleep. In those regions, the radioisotope can provide a signal so we can understand that, certain region of the brain is participated in reading. For PET scan, a special camera makes an image of accumulated radioactive chemical throughout the brain. By examining this image, determine which part of the brain are involved in the cognitive task. PET scan used to study such cognitive processes as attention, memory, mental imagery, and reading. PET scan requires at least 30 seconds to produce data. PET scans are much less precise than fMRI technique in identifying the exact time sequence of cognitive task. So here is CT or PET scan machine, and PET scan excels in observing metabolic processes. And as a radioisotope are observed by the most active cells, high energy gamma rays are produced. So from PET scan, you can see inside the brain, and these different color differentiate the highly activated region or less active region depending on your cognitive task. So PET scans, the greatest value has been its ability to provide insight into brain activity in people affected by mental illness, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, and epilepsy. Determine which area of the healthy brain are most active during certain tasks, such as speaking, listening to music, or figuring out a mathematical problem. PET scan provide evidence of the functions of a specific brain region. Another technique for brain image is functional magnetic resonance image, fMRI. fMRI measures the amount of oxygen in the blood in various brain regions. Based on the principle that oxygen-rich blood is an index of brain activity, brain always needs oxygen. So certain regions of brain require high concentration of oxygen, means that brain region is highly activated for certain cognitive tasks. This technique developed during 1990s. In terms of PET scan, radioisotope need to be injected inside the brain, but fMRI can measure the brain activity that occurs fairly quickly. But fMRI is less invasive with no injection and no radioactive material. fMRI can measure brain activity that occurs fairly quickly, in about half a second. fMRI cannot identify that you actually look at the word before you pronounce the word, when you were reading the word. It means the outcome from fMRI is a little bit lag behind a certain time. PET scan fMRI techniques are too slow to provide precise information about the timing of brain activity. A neuron activated B neuron send signal to C neuron, but when we use PET or fMRI technique, we might only capture information transfer occur from B to C nerve cell. We might not catch it start from A nerve cell. So every technique has some pitfall, but these techniques are wonderful because before 1990s, we do not have even these kinds of the advanced technology. Therefore, we really do not know what's going on inside the human brain. So again, this is for fMRI. And then you can see like this image. So you can see what kind of activity occur for certain cognitive tasks in which brain region. So this is highly oxygen-rich area for certain cognitive task. And also this on someone's brain inside, and then this is a highly active region and the less active region. Because the red color implies oxygen-rich area, this is less oxygen-rich area, means less active part of the brain for certain cognitive task. One more technique called event-related potential, ERP. ERP records the tiny fluctuations in the brain's electrical activity in response to a stimulus. For ERP, place electrode on a person's scalp. Since the skull and the scalp can conduct electricity, the electrodes accurately pick up the brain's electrical activity underneath the skull. ERP cannot identify the response of a single neuron, but can identify electrical changes over a very brief period. ERP provides a precise picture about changes in the brain's electrical potential during a cognitive task. One thing that makes the ERP valuable tool for cognitive psychology is that the response consists of a number of different components, which occurs at different delays after a stimulus is presented. For example, watch a video that lasts 1 second. One video shows opening one's mouth. A second video shows closing one's mouth. The electrodes are fastened to someone's scalp, and that person watches numerous presentations of both the mouth opening and mouth closing. ERP provides a change in the brain's electrical potential while people perform a cognitive task. The human brain would respond more dramatically when the person watches mouth open than when person watches a mouth close. Why your brain responds differently to these two situations? Because a mouth opening movement is more important because it signals that a person is about to say something. So you need to be more attentive. Whereas it is less important to notice that someone has finished talking, such as closing the mouth. The exaggerated ERP reflects this attentiveness. So place electrode on the scalp and then measure the brain rhythm. In brain rhythm, we call that EEG and a brain wave. There are several kinds of waves, alpha wave, beta wave, theta, and delta. And in terms of alpha wave, are monitored when you awake but relaxed. Beta waves can be detected when people awake and alert. Theta waves can be found common in children. Delta waves appears when people have in deep sleep. So all these neuroscience technology facilitate understanding human mind. So I will introduce some neuroscientific data discovered by using this kind of technique when you study memory, attention, or meditation. So far, we overall, what kind of a methodology can be used for cognitive psychology or neuroscience or cognitive neuroscience. Now, let's think about what is the exact meaning of a sense, sensation, or perception and cognition. Sense is a system that translates information from outside the nervous system into neural activity. So outside nervous system. Means outside your brain. So simply some external stimuli, some stimuli from the environment. You always sensitize. You might not recognize that. You feel that, oh, today is rainy. Today is gloomy. There's no sunlight. Oh, today is a bright, sunny day. Your eyes sensitize the light. And these kinds of information translate into neural activity. We call that sense. Sensation is the process by which our sensory receptors and nervous system receive and represent stimulus energy, such as your retina is going to sensitize information, visual information, and send this visual information into the brain. Olfactory nerve cell also receive and send this information into the brain. So sensation is kind of initial message from sense. Now the brain receive all this information from eye, nose, ear, mouth, even from your old skin. Then this information is going to what? Process to make you know that what you feel. We call that perception or cognition. Perception and cognition are not exactly the same meaning, especially in the Buddhist perspective. I will point out that later when you study Buddhist perspective of cognition. But in general, in Western perspective, perception and cognition is almost the same meaning. So perception is kind of a selection, organization, and interpretation of a sensory input. So you already have a sensation as the initial message from sense. Then this initial message is a process to give you meaning to the message. We call that perception, such as, oh, I like this smell. Oh, I love this scenery. Sensation is just simply you receive information from stimuli and just send into the brain. So on sensation stage, you might not have any impression or feeling or recognition. So we will study sense, sensation, perception, and cognition in detail next time. This is the end of the first week lecture. From now on, what you have to do is you need to send me the email as follow. This is my email address. Include your email address as a CC and subject title Bird 420 Week 1. In the main text body of email, you just write down your option name. Your last name, comma, followed by first name. Do not swap the position of last and first name. Do not use the nickname. You must go by option name. Sending me the email of your option name will be counted your attendance of the first week. The due of first week assignment is July 18th, this coming Sunday midnight. So your email appears this way. Okay, this is the assignment for this week. And this is the end of week 1 lecture. Thank you.